Hello, Zeb Orrelios from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Inside the Force. Karabast. Gotta go. Hera's here.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Hey everybody, welcome to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello everybody.
And Chad Perkins.
Hi, I'm back.
Hey, geez, it's been a while.
Hey.
Gone for a long time.
Well, actually, he filled in for you.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't you just do that?
Yeah, that was 3 months ago.
It wasn't too long ago, yeah.
3 months? That was 3 months already?
It was December 16th-ish, 15th, 14th.
Oh, jeez. I don't know.
One of those days.
Yeah, we had that talk when Chad was on. We had that talk when Chad was on last time that he had not been on since for 2 years or something like that.
Yes,
So,
indeed.
So, not too long. Welcome back, Chad.
Thank you.
Thank you. Inside the Force. We've got a lot to talk about with Chad because had a really cool experience this past weekend. Kind of the normal March weekend for us. We had LexCon here in Lexington, Kentucky. But the cool thing, what we'll get into, is we actually live streamed the event. So we'll get into that with Chad here in a few minutes. But first up, we'll breeze through some of the latest news that came out this past week here for you all.
Yes, so with the movies, it is still relatively quiet. Han Solo, there's some articles out there about shooting for Han Solo, just some location details. So nothing too crazy there, really. Nothing too revealing. With Episode 8, I guess it's just in post. There's really nothing going on. There's... people are kind of just... Other news sources are kind of saying, we'll definitely not get any trailers before Celebration, as we all assumed, because people were asking that a lot on the interwebs. But, of course, we won't get anything before Celebration. We're only a few weeks away.
Yeah, that's the thing. But normally you would even start getting those rumors we did with the
trailer breakdown.
What we did with the executive screening, right?
Yeah, the shareholders, we got about a few scenes kind of mentioned, some moments mentioned, and I'm sure we'll see a version of that, if not just that, maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't think it'll be that. I think it'll be more detailed.
Yeah, those shots and probably more stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. But Episode 8 seems to be coming along quite nicely. And then that's pretty much all on the movie front. But speaking of Celebration, some even more people were confirmed.
Yep.
And it was on, if you saw the Star Wars show this past week, it was mentioned in there. But one of those people, of course, is Anthony Daniels. Of course. What the heck? He's going to do his one-man show at Celebration. And Riz Ahmed, who played Bodhi. Some may say Booty. I think Saul Guerrero said something. He pronounced it differently. But the pilot. I'm the pilot from Rogue One. He will also be there. And I think that was all it was.
And you got your badges.
I did get my badges.
You did get your badges.
My Thursday,
those are really
Friday, Saturday.
freaking cool, actually. Too.
I love the artwork.
I know.
Really
I ended up getting a 4-day, so I only got one.
You get the Ray.
Is it Ray?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a Ray pass.
Yeah.
One Ray pass. I got 3.
Chad, did you get your passes yet?
No, still working on that.
I thought Charles bought a batch of them.
He bought 3.
Okay.
Me, John, and Charles got.
Okay.
Yeah, he forgot about it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so they're all over eBay right now. So
yeah.
Now that everybody's got them in hand, pretty much now. They shipped out. So.
Yep.
So anybody listening, if you even though the 4-day passes have been sold out, they're on eBay. Some, when we went to Anaheim, Chad, remember we bought them for for under cost, I think.
We did, and we sold them before we left.
We did, because we didn't go Sunday. But But you occasionally you might be able to find somebody that can't make it anymore, so they're just trying to offset the cost at all. But there's people right now obviously are trying to make money off of it, so you might have to pay a little bit more if you want them right now. But there's still single day passes on the actual website.
Yeah.
Or you can get on eBay and start buying looking for a 4-day if you want. But there are. Did you hear that? Did Charles tell you he found a couple people that were selling Jedi Masters?
No.
One sold for, I'm not even joking, one sold for $5,000.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And he said he almost bought it.
What an idiot. Oh, because he sell it for more?
But you think about it. Well, that's the thing. You think about it. So if people that don't know, when Celebration tickets go on sale, they sell only 50 Jedi Master badges. They sell 250 Jedi Knight badges. And then the rest are just simple 4-day passes, right? So you get a lot of perks with either or. Mainly the big advantage to having that is you get early access to the floor, to the convention floor.
Yeah.
So you get an hour earlier before anybody else does. So you think about it. Only 300 people could go out into the convention floor before everybody else. And what does that mean? That means if you get in line, basically first in line to places like Funko, Lego, even Hallmark that Chad made some money off of last time.
Yeah.
You get these exclusive pieces that in the end you probably will make your, now $5,000 is a lot to make up. He did say, you know what? I take that back. I think I overshot. I think it was $3,000 because he said 2 went today each for $1,500, and he was so mad he didn't get those. So I think it was $3,000 for the one.
Wow.
But anyway, but $1,500 is really, really more manageable. Now, I think the retail cost of it when you buy it online, I think it's $900.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Jedi Knights are $500 or something like that, or $550. And then obviously the 4-day pass is $200, whatever it was. So yeah, they're expensive, but again, you get that access, and then plus, if you're not even in it for that, you get front row seating to any one of those events. You get early seating, all that. I mean, you just don't wait in line ever. So it's almost. The Jedi Knight one, is definitely to me worth it. The Master one, and plus you get a bunch of exclusive signed material and stuff like that. Blah blah blah. Anyway. But it's one of them things where you have to literally be waiting till they release the tickets because they're gone in literally minutes, if not just a minute. I mean, it's so fast. Plus, I got to think that they hold back some for I don't know. Maybe they don't. Who knows? Because, meeting some of those guys like Senrich and Collins and all those guys, they have these like, is that your place or our place?
That'd be my place.
That was your place, yeah. Chad lives in the ghetto. No, I know. I'm joking. You live by the main road though. That's why.
Yeah.
But they have those VIP badges that aren't Jedi and Master. They're just they VIP.
Yeah,
go wherever you want.
The VIPs.
Anyway, so Celebration. Okay,
very cool. So we're very close to that.
Chad, are you up to speed on Star Wars Rebels?
I'm not. I had some DVR issues that I had to take both of my boxes in and get them replaced. So I fell behind, and then so I'm waiting for the season just to come out, and I'm just going to binge it.
Right. Okay. Well,
luckily this past weekend wasn't really too important.
Yeah, we won't talk too much about it, but it is funny because in Recon, Filoni even said it was like a filler episode.
Yeah, he's like, I come to understand. Like he's like, I basically almost like he succumbed to what the fans call filler episodes. He's like, yes, they're filler episodes. You can't make every single episode this heavy dramatic.
Yeah. I was like,
story.
Well,
you gotta have the fun ones.
Say that.
But I still really liked it though. I
did.
It was different. It was like funny different in a way. This new droid that they've introduced to the show, AP5.
AP5, he's really good.
Hilarious. He's some fans refer to him as the Alan Rickman droid because he has that kind of like way of talking about, you know. And there's that drone he has, and just very like almost like Alan Rickman's character from the droid he played in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Like humans bore him, humans annoy the crap out of him, and let him just do his thing. And just he's just.
Well, droids bore him, AP5.
Yeah, everybody. He thinks he's just the smartest. Like everybody just needs to shut up. He's a logistics droid, so just let him organize, let him do his thing. It's pretty interesting. But the very end of that episode, where he's just kind of floating in space,
weird.
It's weird and hilarious because he starts singing in those weird space things.
It's weird that you see those creatures flying around.
Yeah, I guess they're like those other creatures that we saw earlier. Might have been last season, like those bigger things that floated. They can fly in space and actually fly through hyperspace.
Fly in hyperspace. That's crazy.
Like using that.
That's how they discovered hyperspace, I think, right? Something like that.
Yeah. So they use that anatomy to make hyperdrive, or the idea of hyperdrive. But maybe those looked similar. So they didn't mention in Rebels Recon what kind of creatures though they were, but it was just funny.
It was funny.
Weird.
But he starts singing, kind of, and
it was like almost like a space. 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
thing where he's like singing at the end there, but
yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, it was pretty good.
I mean, because at the end, it's a lot of Hera took out that cruiser, which is
I know.
She killed a lot of people.
The main part of that too, like you said in Recon, was kind of introducing that whole security team on the Empire, similar to Lobot.
They all had Lobot headsets.
Headsets.
Because we saw a character from season 1, I think.
Yeah, it was the Rodian.
Yeah, the Rodian that had a similar thing. Like he has this like implant, kind of thing in his head, where it's the Lobot implant essentially, where he has a computer attached to his head essentially. So
they're like intelligence officers, that are hooked directly into the system, basically the data, and analyzing.
Exactly.
So pretty neat to see that, but they're. Fortunately, all destroyed.
Oh my gosh! Yes,
I mean,
that was insane.
She just mass murdered like a lot of people.
She didn't even see them. She didn't know who they were. She just heard voices and just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
From a distance, she killed many people.
But they saw her, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah, pretty cool, interesting episode. Now, this episode, and Chad, I know you would be excited by this anyway if you haven't even seen the season. So this episode doesn't literally lead into, but the next episode is this Saturday, which is called Twin Sons. And this is an episode that has been basically hinted at us since the beginning of the season. So Chad, you didn't see any of the season?
I can't remember if I
did. You see Darth Maul? You didn't see Darth Maul in the beginning of the season?
What about him?
About him and Ezra finding that holocron, opening that Sith holocron?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did see that.
Okay, so that in that episode, if you remember, it referenced a twin sun planet, which made you obviously think that he was searching for Kenobi. I mean, that was the rumor. You're thinking like,
At the end of that episode, Maul flies away in his ship saying, like, he's alive. Laughing.
Yes.
Like, he's alive.
And we haven't seen him since.
Right.
Maul has been...
Well, there was that the Dathomir episode. It was like kind of...
Oh, yeah, about the Darksaber.
Right.
That's how Sabine got the Darksaber.
Yeah. But since then,
But I guess since then, you find out that he's been on Tatooine looking for Kenobi. And apparently in this episode, at least in what we've seen in the previews, they are confronted.
Yeah.
We're going to get... And unfortunately, because we had talked about this in a live action sense.
Yeah, I know.
Freaking Ewan McGregor against Ray Park.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Right.
We're going to get it in Rebels. We're going to get it this Saturday. So, Chad, too bad. You should probably get on Disney XD and binge watch tomorrow.
Yeah.
It seems like I tried to do that, like the app or whatever, and it wouldn't. My cable provider wasn't listed
Oh, I'll give you. I can give you my DirecTV one if that's no problem.
Yeah. Just tell me now on the podcast.
Yeah, not trying to encourage anybody to do that, folks. But,
well, I mean, I have cable, so it's just I just couldn't find my provider. So it's all good.
You have Comcast, Time Warner. What is it?
Time Warner /
Spectrum now.
Spectrum. Yeah.
They don't list that one.
No,
Weird.
not the last time I checked. It was weird.
So I'll ask you guys the poll question that we put out for this episode, and it's actually still running. I ran it a little later, but we've got on our poll. We wrote, we're so excited about Star Wars Rebels Twin Suns. Do you think this is the end for Darth Maul? Is this where Darth Maul gets killed, basically? Case, what do you think?
You'd have to think yes, right? You'd have to say yes.
I thought he died in episode 1.
I know, yeah.
So
I mean, how could he not die? And like, unless they just bring him back next season, I don't know.
he's going to show up in episode 8. No.
I predicted he was going to be in episode 7.
I know you did. I know you
wasn't
did.
right, but
Early rumors, early projections.
So, not seeing the season, though, Chad, but knowing that they are confronting each other, is this where you think Darth Maul would be the end of him?
it makes sense, but I think not.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm leaning towards this at the end for Darth Maul. I think this is... Although, for some reason, I have this feeling. I don't know why. I have this feeling we're going to see them, like, ignite their lightsabers, and then the episode's going to end.
I can totally see that.
Right?
Yeah.
But how? Well, they're going to do 20 minutes of him just wandering around Tatooine, though? That's what I don't...
Maybe. I don't know if the Ghost Crew gets involved at all.
Yeah, as of right now, we haven't seen any of it. But Ezra has seen it too, though, right? He knows there's a... Because he tell Kanan something. He told Kanan about a twin sun planet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they... I don't know if he goes there too. I mean, that'd be crazy if Obi-Wan meets Ezra.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, in our poll so far, even though, like I said, it's still a day running, 65% have said yes. 35. No. When this started out, after about, 10 or 12 votes on this thing, it was like 85% people said yes. So more have actually shifted to the no side to bring this down some. So it looks like about 3 to 1 that people are, that's not quite 3 to 1, but people are thinking more so that yes, this is probably the end for Maul and not for not for him. So, but anyway, that's this weekend, Saturday evening on Disney XD. You'll get Twin Suns, which sets up, I think. I think is the season finale next week?
I believe so.
I think it's the hour-long finale is the following week.
Yeah, there's a clip out there, too, I believe.
Yes, there's a preview of the finale, so I think it is next week. It's a 1-hour finale where we get basically full Thrawn after the Rebels. So tune in to that. We will definitely be, obviously, talking a lot about Twin Sun, hopefully next week, about what shapes up there. Crazy. And all right, so let's see. Moving on, I think the only other thing, I'm about 2 hours left in Aftermath.
I'm just slowly getting through Life Debt.
Yeah, I'm actually going to probably catch up with you on Life Debt because I'm going to start Life Debt right away. But I'll tell you right now, I've not been that happy with Aftermath. Mm-hmm. I'll just throw it out there.
Okay.
I haven't been that happy with Aftermath. I wanted a different story. The whole Wedge thing, I don't know.
Wedge's story really petered out throughout.
But it is the central story.
But I thought there'd be more of them.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's the central story, but it's like it's like when you take it all out, it's only like probably 2 chapters.
It definitely about 150 pages, 200 pages into it, almost 100% shifts towards Nora, Wexley,
Nora Snap,
and
sure.
that group.
Absolutely.
The bounty hunter and the Imperial guy. So,
but they're the ones they're going to get them, right?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at now, anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, so comic news that came out shortly after our episode last week.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But they are going to start releasing a new Vader series. If you don't know, the whole canon comic book series started with Darth Vader, as well as Star Wars. We got 25 issues of Vader, and then now we're getting a new series. I don't know if this is a limited or if I don't think I read if it's it's an ongoing series. It's an ongoing series coming in June, and it's written by Charles Soule, who is one of my all-time favorite comic book writers. If you guys haven't read him, he's so far I think he did the Lando series, which is a phenomenal series.
Yep.
It's only 5 issues, and then I think he was doing Poe Dameron as well.
I think so.
I think he started off with Poe, and then now he's getting ready to do a number of other issues, obviously from Marvel and from DC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But Charles Soule is phenomenal writer. I'm so excited about this. The artist will be Giuseppe. Oh man, Giuseppe Maniacali. Gosh,
Nailed it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's it.
You just gotta say it with confidence.
Yeah. So what's killer about this is that this takes place after episode 3.
Yeah.
So this is early. I mean, very early steps of Vader constructing his red lightsaber. Appearances from the Emperor will be in there, and then it'll follow him hunting down the Jedi and forming the Inquisitors.
Yes.
So
we were just talking after we recorded like last Friday that like I want to see him construct his lightsaber because we were just talking about lightsabers and how the color, the crystal, becomes the color based off the Jedi, that kind of thing, and
they listen to us.
Yes,
and they
that day in
give
your
us
car.
what we want.
Yeah, because the question still remains, like, because you mentioned you read this little article on StarWars.com about 5 things you didn't know about lightsabers.
Right.
One of them, about kind of what we read in Ahsoka about how they're colorless. The Jedi, when they get their crystal, it then forms. It takes on a color, and then Sith, when they get their lightsabers, they have to steal it from a Jedi, causing it to bleed because they have to bend the crystal to their will, causing it to bleed and become red. But then in Ahsoka, what we learned was that when a Jedi takes back a Sith crystal that has bled out, it basically
and heals it.
Yeah, heals it, making it white,
White.
not colorless, but white.
Correct.
So that's all awesome. That's cool. But then we always thought, well, about Anakin Skywalker, like, why wasn't his blue lightsaber red when he became Darth Vader at the end of Revenge of the Sith? So, there's different things we kind of theorized about why it didn't turn red or this and that, but hopefully this explains it.
Yes. Chad, there you go.
Yeah.
5 things you didn't know about lightsabers.
I knew all that.
Oh, okay.
Did you know about that? The bleeding part and the healing part?
Well,
I
you
might have
talked
told
about
you,
it
yeah.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is kind of the question. Yes, I mean, why didn't his blue saber actually turn red? I guess I don't know if it already been. I don't know.
Right?
That's
yeah.
the thing.
He's the chosen one. So
He's
who
the
knows?
chosen one. Yeah, who
He can
knows?
do anything.
Yeah. So Vader coming in June. Look for that from Charles Soule. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move on to. I think we can move on right to the con.
The con, sure.
So really, really cool. This past weekend, back in here in Lexington, Kentucky, every March we have LexCon, Lexington Comic and Toy Convention. Very, very successful con. It's been. I want to say this is only like the 5th or 6th year. Do you know for sure, Chad, what year it was?
I don't, but 5th or 6th, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's been growing and growing every year, just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I didn't even realize this year. I didn't go. Was it upstairs as well? Still too?
Yeah.
So, dang, I didn't even go up there. I totally forgot about that.
I didn't go up there either. No.
So the first couple of years it was just downstairs, and then now it was just 2 levels and really big. And they've been getting good guests there. This year they had Robert Lord Taylor from Gotham. They had Jason Mewes. They had a ton of guys from Clerks and Kevin Smith. Where Kevin Smith was actually there doing his own little shows in Lexington. You had we talked about having all the old bounty hunters.
Oh yeah, saw them
like Forlom and Jeremy Bullock. Obviously, as Boba Fett.
Greedo's there.
Greedo.
Man, Greedo. He's cool.
And we're not obviously saying their real names, but
sure, no, it's his.
Yeah,
he's real.
There's a big attraction of Power Rangers there, so there's always those guys.
Absolutely.
John Wesley Shipp. That's
I
on
met
the Flash.
him. He's awesome.
Yes,
he's a cool guy.
He's a really cool guy. Then of course some comic book artists and stuff like that. I'm definitely in the comic book men from the show.
Neil Adams. He's awesome.
Yep. And then someone partial to this show, Steve Blum.
Yes,
was there. Who voices Zeb Orrelios. So before we get into that, though, Chad, the great thing about what we did this year as a company that we all work for Post Time, we live streamed a few hours each day of the show. First thing that they tried, we've been getting into that business, and we kind of pitched it to them about it, and we really wanted to help them build it for next year, maybe get some sponsorship, and the idea was to kind of do what Celebration,
absolutely,
right?
That's
if and they didn't do it. They'd done some live streaming, like when we were in Orlando and Anaheim, but it was just little segments. The first time they live streamed pretty much the entire show in Europe. So that's kind of what we were going for. We had a platform. We were kind of, the backdrop was the con. You can get on the Facebook page, Lexington Comic Con, and actually see these segments that we did. Chad was the host, and we did 2 hours on Friday and then 3 hours on Saturday. And, for just, I hate to say it, but just kind of throwing it together, I think it turned out fantastic. So Chad, talk about hosting it. What was your experience with how it went as far as the live stream?
Well, Russell did a lot of research for these guests, and I kind of had note cards prepared for a lot of people. I used exactly 0 of them. Everyone that we talked to had to just quickly do a little bit of research, and luckily he was there for some of that time, and he helped me out with when I talked to Jake the Snake Roberts. He did some research.
Ric Flair was there too, wasn't he?
Ric Flair was there on Sunday only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, everyone I talked to, I didn't have anything really prepared except for maybe 5 minutes beforehand. So it was a little bit nerve-wracking in the very beginning when I started, because it's live internet. But we started out talking just to some cosplayers and kind of rolled into it, and after that, it was all good. It was really fun, just nice and loose, and everyone was real pleasant, and it was really good. Everyone, I didn't know how to take it. So I talked to the 3 guys from Comic Book Man, and Mike Zapsik. Either he was just kidding with me, or he was kind of being a little bit of a jerk. I don't know, but I to start it out, I said, "Okay, I want you guys to go and introduce yourselves just like you do on the podcast. On the podcast, I'll be what's the one guy who wasn't there?
Walt Flanagan.
Walt Flanagan. I said, I'll be Walt Flanagan. I said, hi, I'm Walt Flanagan, and then Ming rolled right into it, Ming Chen, and then Mike goes, that's not how it goes. That's not the order. And I go, oh, did I mess up the order? Sorry. And he's like, yeah. And I was like,
Yeah, actually, Ming Chen's last.
yeah. So it's actually Ming's fault.
Yeah, it's Walt Flanagan, Brian Johnson.
Well, I guess,
Mike
Kevin
Zapkit.
Smith actually starts it out, but
Yes, he does.
so I don't know if he.
So you just started off really bad.
Yeah, so I don't know if he thought that I had never seen the show before, and I was asking them to introduce themselves because I didn't know their names, or what. But it just seemed to get to a rocky start.
I gotta watch it. I meant to watch it. I haven't watched. I wasn't there.
Yeah,
for that.
like I kind of felt my face get kind of red during that interview because I'm like, this isn't going well.
Wow.
But I think it turned out fine.
Yeah.
And they're all really nice guys. So,
Yeah,
you know.
Brian wasn't there last year,
Right.
Correct.
but he was there, and he seems like a really nice guy, though. He seems pretty cool.
Yeah, very laid back.
Yes, very. And it's funny because Kevin, like, he dedicates like the two people that really got him where it is Scott Mosier and Brian Johnson. Really, because they were like the original guys that went to school with him that night, those night classes or whatever. So, okay, so well, obviously one of the big guests that you had for us that we were able to use for this show is Steve Blum.
Yes.
Who I called Steve Blum. So that was great too.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm gonna go ahead and leave it in.
Oh,
Should I take it
leave
out?
it in. Leave it
It's
in.
not
Leave it
Chad's
in.
fault.
I was going to maybe take it out, but you already mentioned it just now. So
Yeah. It's all right.
it wasn't your fault.
Yeah, we were just
because I thought I
misinformed.
didn't know. It looks like Blum.
Yeah, if I had my senses, I would have looked up some interviews, but I was trying to find his booth and get him over. So
Yeah.
went to his booth and asked him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And then he actually went to the bathroom from home, and then I talked to his handler, and I don't know if he, but anyways, I was misinformed by what his last name
His
was.
handler. His handler.
Yeah, I
told you
hate to throw him
it
under the
was-
bus.
Oh, he said Blum.
Yeah, I hate to throw him under the bus, but I asked him, is it Bloom or is it Blum? And I've heard it, I feel like I've heard it both ways. And he said, he's like, hey, Blum.
Anyway, he
I
was
like,
really
okay.
cool about it.
He was. Yeah, I'm sure he's
So-
gotten it several times. So
Yeah, there's another interview where I was like, oh, great. Way to start out. Perfect.
Well, anyway, let's do that. I'm going to drop that in right now. Here's Chad Perkins talking to Steve Blum at LexCon. Here, check this out.
And we're back, and we're joined with Steve Blum. Steve, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. But
Great.
you got to say Bloom, otherwise my mom gets really upset. so-
Oh, is it Bloom?
It's Bloom. Yeah,
They
it's
told
spelled wrong
me
though.
Blum.
No, it's spelled wrong. It's okay. It's not your fault.
Ah,
It's all right. You could have called me Steven too, and I would have had a really great explanation for that.
I'm just. Sorry.
No, it's all good. We can start over
Steve
if you want.
Blum.
We don't even
It's
have
live.
to. It's take two. Oh, we're live.
It's live.
Hi.
Oh,
Live is even better. I love mistakes.
yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
That makes the show more interesting.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
Who's watching?
And people are waving. Hi. Okay. Well, this is on Facebook Live, and we've got a lot of people here, and they've been commenting and asking questions and so forth. I got some questions sent in here and so forth.
Okay.
So we just had Carlos up here, another voice
Never heard of
actor.
him.
No,
I love Carlos.
He's very obscure. I'm sure you haven't.
One of my
seen him.
heroes. He is a superhero.
But I think this is a great way to have two voice actors here in a row, because I've always found voice actors, you're not the unsung heroes, but you're not as sung as much as you should be.
That's
I
right.
feel
We're
like
undersung.
you are undersung.
Yes, which is a good thing. We like keeping
undersung.
it under the radar. And
Yeah,
keeps us humble that way.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You have so many credits, and you know them a lot better. So
Not really.
What? Where have people heard you that they haven't even realized that they've heard you? Of course, you're Zeb on Rebels, but
Zeb and Rebels, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I started out in anime, so that was, I wouldn't say it's my bread and butter, but that's what started my career.
Okay.
It was sort of accidental, but I am probably best known for Cowboy Bebop, playing the voice of Spike Spiegel.
yes,
But did a ton of anime for years. Voice of Toonami, Tom, and we're still on the air.
yeah,
In fact,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
on tonight.
yeah.
Only
Cartoon
Toonami
Network.
on Adult Swim.
Adult Swim.
Yeah. And then made the shift over into video games. So I've done like 450 video games. So people might know me from Call of Duty, played Tank Dempsey there, and Grunt from Mass Effect, and 1/3 of all the Stormtroopers in the Star Wars games.
Move along. Move along.
Yeah, that's right. That's nothing to see here.
And nothing to say. Move along.
And then was able to make it over into original animation, American animation, with things like Wolverine, the X-Men. Been playing Wolverine for many years now. And Starscream from Transformers Prime. And regular show and tons of different things. Now Zeb from Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
Yep.
Were you just various characters on regular show? Because I love that show.
A ton of different characters on the regular show. Yeah, I was one of the 2 astronauts with Mark Hamill. And then I was the Sandwich of Death guy that they met on top of the mountain.
Yes.
Carter and Briggs, and a lot of those crazy incidental characters.
Oh, that is so
They were really
cool.
sweet to bring me on the show.
Awesome. That's very cool. Well, I'm going to read you some questions that I've been texted here.
Okay.
How did you get connected with Star Wars Rebels?
Well, I auditioned for it, like everything else. The audition came across my desk, and I didn't know it was Star Wars at all.
Really? So they're keeping it hush-hush?
They're very careful about that sort of thing, so everything was coded. It was under a different name. So when I read for it, it was just as troopers and warriors and things like that, and code names for everything. Mm-hmm. And even when I made it to callbacks, it didn't really register to me that this was a Star Wars show. Even though they mentioned it at the time, it didn't really register. Because I had worked on Star Wars before, but I didn't think that I'd ever get to work on a real Star Wars show as opposed to the games. And it didn't register fully until I was actually in England doing a Transformers convention. I got the call to go to a studio and record this pilot episode of this show that they still didn't tell me what it was. And I go into this crazy studio in the middle of some suburb in England, into this guy's house, and I'm looking at the copy as he sets it down in front of me, and I see stormtroopers on it, and I went, Stormtroopers, this is Star Wars. It's Star Wars! And I have my little 8-year-old fangirl squee that probably came out loud at the time, yeah. And thankfully they booked me on the show, and we created Zeb together, and we went through a whole bunch of different accents together, and finally we landed on whatever that accent is. It's sort of a bad amalgamation of a bunch of English accents and maybe a little Australian thrown in, and created this whole new mythology on a character based on a Ralph McQuarrie design for the original Wookiee.
Right.
So,
original Chewbacca,
yeah, so I am really grateful to be part of this.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Now, at that point in the process, was Dave Filoni real involved?
Oh, Dave is involved from beginning to end.
hands-on.
He is hands-on in every aspect of the show. Yeah, in fact, I've never seen anybody who really knows every element of the show like Dave does. I mean, from the writing to the voice work to the animation to production, he knows all of it and oversees all of it, and comes into the room with us before every episode and talks to us and gives us some overview about the global vision of this franchise, and that it goes so far beyond just space and characters shooting at each other. It's really a commentary on society. So it's an amazing thing. It's such a bigger world than even I imagined.
You say Karabast a lot.
Yes, I do.
What does that mean?
Karabast is one of those words that you could use in many different situations.
Okay.
Sort of like the F word in English.
Okay. As many, you can use it in every type of situation.
I shouldn't say that with Disney listening, but it's one of those multi-purpose words, and it is from Lasan. It's from his culture.
Okay.
So I think we'll have to wait to find out more about Lasan before any more of that's revealed.
So we are going to find out more.
Who knows?
Ooh.
Who knows? I'm hoping.
Kind of feel like maybe we are.
I'm hoping. We never know. We never know. It's always been my hope that each of the characters goes a little bit deeper into their own stories and mythology, and we don't really know much about his people at all, except that they've suffered a lot. So I'd like to know more about it, and I'd love to see Zeb find a girlfriend. I mean, he's lonely out there in the world.
Sure.
So,
yeah, that would be good. That would be good. Why not? Why not?
So for the spin-off, Dave, if you're listening,
That would be my first priority, all right?
oh, up there, yeah.
There we
I
go.
never know which camera I'm looking at. It doesn't matter. That's why I do
We don't know.
voiceover. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't have to. But camera one, camera two, camera one, camera two. Yeah.
He's pointing at the wrong camera just to freak me out, isn't he?
Now it's this camera over here. So we saw the ghost
Yes,
in,
sir.
in live action now.
Yes,
Was Zeb on the ship?
of course he was.
Was he?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You heard it here
it
first.
here second.
Second.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's already
No,
been said.
I think he was probably on the Ghost for that mission.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
I would imagine so.
Awesome.
General Syndulla was there, so why not?
Yeah. Why not?
I'd follow her anywhere.
Of course. How has being part of the Star Wars universe changed your life?
Wow. Well, I've been part of the Star Wars universe for a long time in the video games, but being on this show has really taken it to another level. Going to Celebration and going to Star Wars weekends and meeting the true Star Wars fans all over the world is such a welcoming culture. It's really amazing. They welcome me as one of their own. I've gotten to go up to Skywalker Ranch and to the studio and you know, fanboy squeeze all around. It was just amazing. It's really amazing just to be part of that in any capacity. And now I'm, you know, part of the canon. It's amazing. Yeah. It's really amazing. So, yeah, I don't take that lightly. I keep that in mind every day that I go into the studio, and I'm humbled by it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we'll be at Celebration ourselves.
Awesome.
Yeah, down in Florida.
Good.
A bunch of us are going. Hope to see you there.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah. Well, I asked the same question of Carlos, just talking about up-and-coming voice actors, what advice you might give them of how to just hone the craft.
Well, the first piece of advice I could give them is to do it because they love voiceover, period. It doesn't matter if they become good at it or they become professional at it. If they enjoy it, that's the most critical element, I think, of anything that you go into. Mm-hmm. And I was doing this long before I was making money at it. So starting in anime, I mean, it doesn't pay the bills. So I had 3 other jobs to support that habit. Wow. So that would be the number one piece of advice I could give. And for voice actors that are actually doing something with the work, I would say that when you're doing the auditions, don't get frustrated by the fact that you're not booking every audition. Because as Jack Angel, one of the greatest voice actors of my time, once told me, the audition is the job. And you have to be satisfied that you've done the best thing you possibly can with that audition. And then if you book the thing, it's just gravy. Yeah. And you just do the audition, forget about it, and move on.
That's awesome.
And for new voice actors coming in, there's resources available to them that weren't available when I was coming up. D. Bradley Baker has this website called IWantToBeAVoiceActor.com. It's like a free masterclass. It's amazing. And it started out as a little blog that he did, and it's become a thing. And he gives incredible advice and incredible real-world insight into what voiceover really is. So I would highly suggest them to go there and read everything, do all the exercises. There's a ton of information there that we didn't have, so we had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
So go ahead and learn from our mistakes.
Right, yeah. Kids have it easy these days. So everything's out there.
I know, those kids.
Darn kids.
Yeah, but it is,
my lawn.
The other thing I would say is that it is a business. That it's the business of voiceover. So if you do go into it and you consider it as a possibility for a future means of making money, consider it like any other business. You have to treat it like a business. Treat it, show up on time, do the work, do your research, and be available. Be available either emotionally as well as physically.
Sure.
Because everything changes in a moment. Absolutely. And you have to be ready for that.
Great advice.
Okay.
Great advice.
Well, hopefully it'll help.
Thank you so much, Steve. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Check him out on Rebels. Check him out on Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, anywhere that he can be. That's the great thing about voice actors. You're so many places that people don't even realize that you are.
We're all over the place. Yeah,
all over the place.
Star Wars Rebels is on tonight, and so is Toonami. So, yeah, you got a couple things to watch tonight, kids.
That's right.
Stay up late.
All you could want. Or maybe they want, I'm sure they want more. We all want more. Really appreciate it. It's great to meet you.
My pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. Thanks,
Peace.
guys.
So there you go. There's Chad talking to Steve Blum. And the really cool thing, too, about this is if you, obviously, the beginning of this episode.
Right.
He did a little intro for us.
Yeah, he did. It was awesome.
That Chad got him to do as the voice of Zeb.
Yes. It really is him. If you heard it and you're like, who did they get to do that?
Yeah, Chad, I was telling Casey today that the other guys we've got doing this before, like Tom Kane and Greg Grunberg, they said their names actually.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
They didn't do the characters. They did the characters later. Like Steve didn't say I'm Steve. He's like I'm Zeb. He like did Zeb. So I was thinking like, well, will people actually think that maybe we got somebody to impersonate him? But no, that's Steve Blum. That's Steve Blum.
That is him.
I got a picture to prove that he recorded it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I like in the interview, to be honest, it's funny because you mentioned in the interview, Chad, that you gathered up these questions, but I think most of them came from me.
Yeah. I was texting. Yeah. I was like, quickly, ask me these questions.
But they were good questions.
They were.
I really liked, obviously, the one about I've always been interested, and I've always asked that from guests that are on our show. How has doing Star Wars changed their lives? Mm-hmm. And Steve was very genuine in the fact that it and not knowing, at least me, I didn't know how long he had been doing.
Right. Yeah, neither did I.
Stormtrooper voices and stuff like that in the games. I mean, he got a huge resume. I mean, this guy, and it sounds like, Chad, you knew most of the stuff that he did on Adult Swim. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he, acknowledges that now that he's doing Star Wars Rebels, that it's a whole other. It's the fan base really has got to know him and embraced him, and I mean that truly is. I feel like how the Star Wars fan community is very embracing of the people that dedicate their efforts to it. And I've always said that I wish that was like that for everybody, even the ones that don't get. Most of us do still appreciate them, and I'm talking about like the Hayden Christensen's and the Ahmed Bests and stuff like that. But there's still that group that like totally want to dismiss them, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's a very mostly it is a very embracing community, and he will always be forever, linked to the canon. So I don't know. So what did you feel like you got out of that interview with him, Chad?
I mean, I just talked to, before that, Carlos and
Rocco's Modern Life.
Rocco's Modern Life.
I can't say his last name either.
Yeah, and from Reno 911. Can't say his last name. But and he's a voice actor.
Yeah.
And then here comes Steve, and he's a voice actor. So I was really, I was on kind of the voice actor kick, and really asking him those type of questions. And so what I got from it, besides the Star Wars facts, was just how much of a talent it is to be a voice actor, and how they can just stand there and just turn it on like a flip of a switch, and go from their voice into a voice that you recognize, like Zeb or whoever it is. And it's just it's just a talent that a lot of people think, I can do voices, no big deal. But it's a definite craft and skill and art to it that I just really respect.
I agree. I've similarly been getting into that. James Arnold Taylor has a YouTube channel where he talks a lot about that. And you see a lot of behind the scenes. Even when we were recording, Chad, Steve Blum doing the intro for the show, if you notice, he held his hand up to his ear like he was holding the headphones. So like, he just gets in that, like, that's the environment, and so he has to put himself in that mindset that he's in a booth or he's in a soundstage to do that voice, and just it's a whole mindset that you have to put yourself into. And like you said, he's a professional, and he can do that. So that was pretty incredible to see.
And I've developed even more respect for those voice actors with audiobooks, because these people are reading like several different voices, and it feels like they're using different people, but it's the same person. I can't even, you could tell obviously a little bit when a male is trying to do a female voice, but when they do it, like this guy I'm reading Aftermath, he does Akbar like it's straight out of the movie.
That's good.
I mean, it's incredible. Like I can't believe and I think Mark Thompson is the guy that's doing Aftermath, and he does a lot of the Star Wars books, but he's great. So it's it's incredible. Like, just that show that we saw, James R. Taylor, is how fast he changes those voices is just incredible.
And just even within the Star Wars world itself, like talking about this past weekend's Rebels episode, AP5 is voiced by Stephen Stanton, who does Grand Moff Tarkin, does many other Star Wars voices. He's doing the old Obi-Wan in this episode this weekend, Twin Sons.
Oh, he is. So James R. Wait,
it's not James
Taylor's not doing it?
No, and he's actually pretty bummed about it. I feel bad for him because
he was bummed about it. What, you heard it?
There's a video. He released a video on his channel talking about how he wasn't asked for it, and like how he was kind of discussing how he feels about it, kind of thing.
Wow, I totally assumed it was going to be him.
No, it wasn't.
Wow. And that's a little, you can't blame them though. But it's
Sure. Yeah.
No, I'm saying that for Yoda, they didn't use Tom Kane.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But they used Frank Oz. So if you're going to replace him, you might as well replace him with the lead guy. Yeah. But that's interesting that they're using a completely different person.
Right. A different guy who's never, to my knowledge, hasn't done one before, but he's done many other Star Wars.
Because James Earl Taylor did the premiere episode.
Yes.
Of Obi-Wan.
And it was kind of like that Revenge of the Sith era.
Yes.
It was Revenge of the Sith era.
It was it was back then.
Still trying to be a little Ewan McGregor-ish, while this is being more Alec Guinness. I mean, I'm sure James Arnold Taylor has the chops to do it.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know what the decision making was, but they didn't go with him.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So anyway, that I felt like that was a good thing. Thanks, Chad, for doing that interview with Steve.
My pleasure.
And dropping that in there. We're obviously going to see him again at Celebration, hopefully. We will be there.
Yeah.
He is going to be there.
He is.
Although
it's not announced that...
Actually, he isn't announced yet.
He isn't announced, but
he said he's going to be there.
Yeah, on the way, I was walking him from his booth to our platform, and I was just trying to, carry on conversation with the guy, and say congratulations on season 4 of Rebels being announced. We're very excited about it and that kind of stuff. And then I said, asked him about being in Lexington, that kind of stuff, and I said, well, a few short weeks, you're going to be at Celebration, right? He's like, yeah, I got to get ready for that. I got to go down to Atlanta, but then I'll be up. I'll be down to Orlando for Celebration. So I didn't even think about it. I just assumed he was.
Yeah.
But it wasn't announced. But no, he kind of confirmed it that he's going to be at Celebration.
And then actually one thing I did forget is about the ghost thing.
Ghost. So we got almost 2 scoops on this show.
But he did correct you, Chad, that...
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I'm trying. In case you've been trying to think, I don't know where they said that he's on, unless he did an interview somewhere else. I don't, But and it's not even technically canon. It's not canon. It's not canon if he says it.
Yeah,
true. It's possible Pablo said something to him, but
yeah,
there's nowhere that I know of that says who is on the Ghost during Rogue One. But that was I think that was a question for that.
Yeah, yes, and then he said he's I'm on there, yeah. Or then later he says, I think Zeb would be on there.
Yeah, he'll follow Hera anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what he said.
Yes. I was just so excited when I was sitting behind, controlling the audio and controlling the streaming. I was like, ugh!
I was live streaming it actually.
Yeah.
I was out somewhere, and he said that. I was like, what?
And I was like, did we just get a scoop? Did we just get some news that no one else has?
And Chad said that, but he's like,
yeah,
you heard it second.
Yeah.
I was like, weird. Where did you say that? But that's interesting theory. The ghost is there, and Hera's obviously alive. She's mentioned
Chopper's there,
but there's no, I don't know. There's no vision of anybody else. So anyway, yeah. So really, last thing before we move on to Celebration talk. Again, really good guy because I ended up going there at the con at the end of day Sunday, and I saw him. They shoved him literally in the corner.
Yeah, literally in the corner.
And I was there with my daughter Sam, who's 7, who does watch Rebels with me, and. So Sam, come here, run with me real fast. So we ran over as he's packing up. This is literally, it's after 4 o'clock, after it's over.
Yeah.
But I run up to Steve and I said, hey, Steve, just wanted to say thanks for doing the interview. I'm involved with the company that did the live stream. And he's like, oh, yeah, no problem. I was like, and thank you for the intro that you did for Inside the Force. I said, I'm one of the co-hosts on the podcast, and we're going to post it on there. So is there any way I can... send it to you. He's like, yeah, just tweet it at me. So we'll tweet this at him and hopefully we'll get some response. But I said, Sam, this is Zeb from the show.
Yeah.
And he did, I said, Sam's a big fan of the show. And he did this voice to her. And she's like, you see her face, her mouth dropped, what?
Is this possible?
And so he said, "Look, here, Sam, let me get you a picture."
Oh, man, that's so great.
So he grabs a picture and he writes, to Sam.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I started to go pay for it. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. He said, he's like, no, don't worry about it. Your family now.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? So it's like, that's the
great.
Star Wars. That's Star Wars, man. And so I grabbed it. I'm going to get it framed for her and all that stuff. But what a great guy. I mean,
Absolutely.
I know it was the end of the show and, that happens, but he didn't have to do that at all.
No, and seeing him interact with other fans in his line was incredible. Like, it's just kids who were cosplaying came up to him. They didn't want an autograph. They just came up to him and said, "No, I just want to say thank you for everything. Just thank you." And just walked away and kind of thing.
That's awesome.
And Steve Blum, Blum kind of like you could tell he was really thankful of that.
Yeah.
Praise him. It was good. I mean, voice actors do have that responsibility.
Absolutely.
Doing all these voices.
Absolutely. Because that's and it's different to me anyway. I think it's different because I don't know. And Chad, you might know this a lot. May add to this like I have, but when we were growing up in the 80s, when cartoons were really big, like the Transformers and the G.I. Joes and the stuff like that, it's like you never really, because of the con stuff, because there weren't that many cons, you never really saw the faces of these people.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know, right? I mean, the most famous voice growing up was obviously Optimus Prime to me, but I never knew what Peter Cullen looked like. I didn't even know his name, right? But these kids now, they're seeing them at these, and they're seeing like Rebels. They can see what Ezra looks like. They can see what Kanan looks like. You know what I mean? And it's such a different. These voice actors are really more popular in my mind. I think in these days. I don't know. You agree with that, Chad?
Yeah, I mean, all you gotta do these days is Google it.
Well, that's true. That's true.
You can see who's behind the voice, and if they're going to be somewhere. If you want to meet them, yeah, totally.
Yeah, it was. I didn't get a chance to see the interview you did with Carlos, Chad. But I mean, just say like Rocco's Modern Life. That was a huge one for me. And I got to see him. Got to see him interact because he knows Steve Blum, and they kind of interacted there a little bit there. So it's just funny to see that. And like Mark Hamill, of course, he's Luke Skywalker, but also he's the Joker. So it's just incredible to see him on these Star Wars panels. Do a little bit of Joker like he did at Celebration for us for his event, his panel, which was awesome. So it's definitely it's awesome to see these people behind the cartoons.
So real quick, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Celebration, Chad, because I'm not sure. Obviously we're going to be doing some shows maybe on the road, so you'll probably might be involved since you'll be with us. But leading up to Celebration, you and Charles went to Anaheim a couple of years ago. God, was that a couple of years ago? That was a couple of years ago. Yep. Yeah, that was 2015. So anyway, what's so I don't think I've had you on the show talking about it, but we've talked to death about our experiences at Celebration. What is Celebration to you, and what do you enjoy most about going to Celebration, Star Wars Celebration?
That's hard to put a finger on it. It's really just the feeling. I mean, the last time we went, the big thing for me was meeting Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher.
Yes.
Because I hadn't done that before. I know you and Charles had. And I was like, I'm just going to kick myself, if I just say, oh, it's too much money to get a picture taken with them or whatever. You might not ever have another chance. And then it turned out,
you won't.
At least for Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Didn't. So things like that, meeting these people I've seen on the big screen or the little screen when, they played on TV since as long as I can remember is an experience that you just don't get very often. And then besides that, it's just everything else, the other panels, the exhibits, the floor, everything. It's all of it.
Yeah. And I will never forget that picture we took with them, because the great thing about that experience was I remember when me, you and Charles were standing there looking at the they had a panel up with all the people you can get a picture with, right? Mm-hmm. It was it was individuals, but then all of a sudden there was at the bottom it said the Skywalker twins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I remember all three looked at each other, we're like, we're doing that, and we immediately got in line, and and picture turned out great. As I think you're in the middle, right? Are you in the middle of them?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I'm touching them both.
So Chad's in the middle. I'm over Hamill's shoulder, and then Charles is over. Charles, of course, was over Carrie Fisher's. Because if everybody's seen, no one's seen it, but you guys have seen the picture me and Charles took of Carrie.
Yeah.
Celebration 6, I think. 5 or 6. She's like leaning into him, and I'm like just by myself, kind of on the side of the. I'm like, this sucks. But you're right. I mean, to be able to at least say we met her now that we can't, it's just heartbreaking, and so glad we did that. You got a picture with Carrie? No,
not Carrie. I did with Mark.
You did with Mark. Yeah,
Celebration 5. I got with Mark. That was awesome.
You and Adam, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Carrie. That's the Skywalker twins. I mean, I just because they easily could have said Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, but the fact that they say Skywalker twins, I'm like, oh man, I'm there. So
it's not like there's anyone there at the con who wasn't going to understand that.
Correct. Yeah, like, exactly.
Who? No.
Yeah, but it's funny. Like all the ones above it wasn't like take a picture with Luke Skywalker or Princess Leia, or it was like all the regular normal names, and then that, and it was just a no brainer. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so that's your. What about this year though? Or what do you? Is there anything that you think you are looking forward to? Like either episode 8 or Rebels or anything this year you're wanting to definitely find out about?
I mean, the trailer hopefully for episode 8 dropping.
Well, do you realize what we're going to have to do though to see that? Do you know about this yet?
Stream it on our phone like we did episode 7?
No, I mean if we want to get in the panel, do you know what we have to do?
Probably like spend the night waiting in line.
Probably.
But it's not going to be Wednesday or it's Thursday.
It's Friday morning, right?
Friday morning.
Yeah.
So
it's the evening we get there.
Yeah.
We probably won't be sleeping in our hotel room the first night.
Yeah.
It'll probably be on the side of the convention floor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But we don't know that. But see, like Anaheim, if you remember, Chad, Anaheim, all those lines that they did were inside. They didn't do outside lines there. Orlando's set up a little different. And I felt like Anaheim was set up better.
A little better, yeah.
Because Anaheim was the convention center was stacked higher, like it was more levels. So each floor was Star Wars, right? Whereas Orlando, it's so spread out, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. In the Anaheim part, the dome part they had was a lot bigger than the stage that they have in Orlando. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll get there Thursday. We'll scout it out, figure it out how they're going to queue it. But I have a horrible feeling that I hope you don't have to get in line like all day Thursday because I want to do stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's going to be tough to figure that out. But anyway, I'm sure if you want to get in Friday morning for that, it's going to be tough. But definitely excited for that. I definitely want to try to get in that. I feel there's no announcement yet whether or not they're going to premiere a season 4 of Rebels.
I think that. I've heard that somewhere though.
You think they're going to?
Star Wars show kind of said that a little bit, and like very quickly in passing that they'll do a season 4 premiere. But they're going to regardless of I can't remember if they said it or not, but they've got to.
I would think they would. The only reason I wouldn't think it is just because it's a little earlier in the year than when we saw the premiere of season 2. Mm-hmm. Was that 2, Chad? I think it was season 2. Yeah, 2 years ago, right? So
I think so. Yeah,
we went. Anaheim was in July, I think, right? No,
Anaheim was in April.
It was in April.
Later, I think though, maybe a little later in April.
We went in April. Did we go in April?
Because I was working, so that's why I couldn't go.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so it was about the same time then. Okay, so I take that back. And I think it's definitely possible they do another premiere because the season will be wrapped. Season 3 will be wrapped before. So looking forward to the drive, Chad.
No.
Oh boy.
Hey, we're gonna be playing some cards.
Playing some cards, watching some movies. Maybe
We'll bring the movie. We'll bring Rogue One. Rogue One will be out by then.
Yep, doing a show.
Yeah,
perhaps
true.
on the way.
So we'll have fun. And Charles will drive the whole way.
We got to sleep some though,
Right.
because we're not going to sleep.
Yeah.
It might be having a hard time going to sleep the next night. Because we'll be camping out.
Plus, but we're actually powering through and driving all night,
Exactly.
so it's going to be
take some shifts.
Anyway, all right, Chad. Anything else you want to mention about anything?
No, I think that's about it.
That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, before we wrap up, we're going to talk a little bit Casey's going to talk a little bit about Zeb Orrelios.
Yes, Zeb Orrelios. That's how you pronounce his name. Crazy name. He is so far his only appearance is in Rebels, and of course, if you guys don't know where I'm reading from Ultimate Star Wars, the book published by DK. But now it's very out of date. I think this was done at the end of season 1 of Rebels. So
I'm going to get the updated version of Celebration.
A few seasons behind. But anyways, Zeb appears in Rebels. His species is Lasat. His homeworld is Lasan. His affiliation is Rebels. The profile here in this book, it covers a lot of what happens in the first season of Rebels, basically talking about his battle with Callus and how Callus has a big history with Zeb and his people, because the Lasats are almost like an endangered species, you could say. So the Empire wiped out a lot of the Lasats on their home planet, just murdered nearly all of its citizens. And Zeb was part of kind of the honor guard, so he's kind of like the military of Lasat. So that's his rifle that he has is a bow rifle. It's an honor guard bow rifle, and that's kind of like a signature thing for his people. And if you remember, if those of you are listening, it was last season, we got a very unique episode with Zeb where he met some of the people from his homeworld, and they needed some help getting back to basically Lasat, or Lasan. And we kind of found out that Lasats, in a way, are connected to the Force, which is a very unique, very interesting episode. So it's not like they can't, close their eyes, use their hand to lift boulders and that kind of stuff. But no, they do have a connection to that spiritual world. It's basically a branch of the Force in a way. So it was just a very cool episode. If you haven't seen it, go take a look. I can't remember the name of it top of my head, but it was last season, it was season 2. But it was just a great Zeb-centric episode. And going through the rest of this profile here, it kind of talks about his, the more of the anatomy of the Lasats, where they're obviously physically they're bigger, stronger. Their senses are more keen. He's got the big ears. He's got big eyes that kind of help with his sight, his hearing. His hands help him climb, that kind of stuff. And physically he is stronger. And it's kind of unique here. His facial hair apparently is a sign of status for Lasats, and even says that he's considered to be handsome for a Lasat. So who knew? We haven't seen any. Well, actually, it's funny because Steve Blum in the interview chat said that Zeb needs a girlfriend in the next season. So
yeah,
maybe we'll see some of this attractiveness of Zeb come through. But that's pretty much it. And talks about here about his feud with Callus, although that has kind of turned to 180.
Yes.
Because now Callus is
an ally.
Spoiler alert.
Oh.
An ally.
Sorry. Yeah.
But it's very good.
Sorry, Chad.
He's turned out to become... sorry about that, bro. He's turned out to become a really important character and not just a secondary crew member. So, very good. Zeb Orrelios.
And in the interview that Chad did, also, you got kind of the meaning of
Karabast. Yeah.
So real quick,
I thought this was a family show.
Yeah, it is a family show.
Hey, sorry, guys.
Come on.
And absolutely everything you need to know about Star Wars. I'll just say this real quick thing pertaining to Steve Blum. Actually, a little peek behind the scenes here. Steve Blum, Zeb's voice actor, also plays the smooth talking, snappily dressed HoloNet news anchor Alton Castle.
There you go.
So Alton Castle on Star Wars Rebels is
Very
also
good.
Steve Blum.
That's funny.
And there's a ton of stuff in here about Zeb, so read that.
And he
up
does
when you get a
Stormtroopers,
chance.
right?
And he does Stormtroopers.
Yeah, that's cool.
Move along, Chad said. Move along. All right, guys. That will do it for this week's episode of Inside the Force. Want to thank Chad Perkins for jumping on here. And
My pleasure.
yeah, you can follow him at Chad Perkins21 on Twitter. And of course, if you're into bourbon, I guess, right? Drinking.
If you're into that sort of thing.
If
I
you're
don't know.
21 and over.
Yeah, I don't want to say if you're into getting boozed, but but anyway, Chad co-hosts a show called It's Bourbon Night on YouTube. So search Bourbon Night. It's Bourbon Night, as well as on Twitter. Check that out. In fact, you got recognized a few times at the con, I think, right?
I did on the live stream, yeah.
Live streaming. Then the day after, he came to LexCon and
To
then
meet me
saw
and get a
Chad.
picture.
Whoa! What the heck?
Yeah, stalker.
Yeah, that actually makes the third person who has recognized me from Bourbon Night.
Oh,
Nice.
dear. Oh, boy.
Yeah, nice.
Moving on up.
I wish my voice was recognized from this show.
Yeah, I know, right? We don't show our faces ever from the show, so it's like, yeah, okay.
You sound like that guy.
We need to change that. We
Yeah.
need to change that. All right, so check him out. Of course, Casey's Crypt2113 on Twitter. I'm DCOTIM21 on Twitter. Check us out at Inside the Force on all the social platforms, InsideTheForce.com. We are on Instagram, we're on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and TuneIn Radio, and on the website as well. Listen to all the shows. That will do it. We are, again, a couple more weeks, and we will be at Celebration. But leading up to that, check us out every week right here for Casey Cooley.
All right, brace yourselves. You were the chosen one. It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them. Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness. There you go.
Nice.
Get yourself ready for this weekend.
Yes. Twin sons, Obi-Wan.
And then Anakin has the best line ever from Hayden Christensen. I hate you.
Yeah. That was pretty powerful.
That was his best
That's
performance.
pretty
Do you know the alternate line for when he says, I hate you?
No.
I need some Visine! His eyes are so red.
Yeah, they are. They are.
So red.
Hope I didn't wake your kids. I'm sorry, Dave.
They're just sleeping like bricks. It doesn't matter. All right. Thanks, everybody, of course, for support and for listening. Thanks, Chad Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
He will be joining us at Celebration, probably get him on again. We're trying to figure out, Chad, possibly some live broadcasts.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know, on the way down and stuff like that. So, and while we're there, so we'll do some of that. All right, guys. Appreciate it. He's Casey.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm Dave, and may the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.